So last class we are understanding exception chaining. There are two ways of chaining exception, with the reporting checked exception or with unchecked exception, runtime exception. With the reporting checked exception, if you chain exception unthrown, user class program is terminated. That exception will be caught and terminated normally. If you chain the exception with a runtime exception, user class programmer don't know the exception coming is runtime exception and program terminated abnormal. Then I told you find out solution and come. Did you find?
Yes.
Now what are the solution?
Some system has as a bag. Similarly, for method cover, some system has given what a special bag, nothing but backup catch.
Why you are telling that much? Directly tell the statement. If you say that much statement, people will not give you job. Your answer should be short. Okay, enjoy. Always give direct answers. Don't prolong. Don't round. Don't tell. What the final answer? We have to write backup catch block. So while I'm preparing try with catch off exception or teaching the try block cases, I told you some other unknown exception raised. Right? Remember? Without you throwing exception, how some unknown exception will come at runtime? What statements you write? From those statements only exceptions will come. Without raising exception at compilation time, runtime with your program, unknown exceptions will not come. From where that unknown exception is coming? From exception chaining concept. From the subclass overriding logic, unchecked exceptions may come, which we don't know. In order to handle those exceptions, we should choose what? Catch with catch with exception, backup catch block exception. Where is that? Now class O extends a M2 method, throwing exception, catching that exception and be wrapped inside a runtime exception and throwing out. Then now let us understand the test class. Test class main method try block A1 equal to which is subclass object we are taking? O. Then now you call M2 method by using which reference? A1. Compiler searching for that method in 1 second here. I forgot this. Now A equal to new O. Compiler searching for M2 method in which class? A class. In class A, M2 method reporting which exception? Class not found. So we must catch that exception first of all. Okay. Then I have a doubt. Maybe. What the doubt? Maybe some other unknown exceptions may come because M2 method I want to execute from which class? O class. In O class, M2 method is overridden. From there, maybe some unknown exception may throw with what? Exception chaining. That's why I'm writing what? Catch of exception E. And here I am displaying that exception by using print stack trace. Save it. Now let me run this code. Control 1. I'll look at that. Make control come to the main method. Yeah, it's not showing the complete information. Yeah, here. Control come to main method. Main method took out to M2 method of which class? O class. In O class, we have from M2 method, we have thrown what? Interrupted exception. Then the interrupted exception will be come to catch block. Catch block internally creating runtime exception and I have thrown that exception. Okay, na? Then from here, control come to this line. This line is that interrupt runtime exception matched to class not found? No. Match it to exception? Yes. And display the enter exception information as like this. Which exception is coming? Runtime exception. What the reason for this exception? Come on, what the reason for the exception? Interrupted exception is the reason for exception. Yes. That's why that interrupted exception name is displayed. Listen carefully. This exception is coming because of runtime exception or because of interrupted exception? That interrupted exception is called caused. This runtime exception is caused by interrupted exception. That means totally how many exceptions came from this M2 method? 2 exceptions. Original exception is what? Interrupted. Chained exception is what? Runtime exception. All you guys understand? That means our main method catch block, E has access to runtime. Inside runtime again E is there. Na? Let us understand the entire memory diagram of this object flow. Once upon a time, long ago, I told you exception object structure. Remember? Throw new interrupted exception. First, what object is there? Interrupted. Inside interrupted, we have interrupted exception. Interrupted, who is a superclass? Exception. Exception superclass. Throwable superclass. Object. Listen carefully. Inside throwable class, this is throwable class. This is exception class. This is interrupted exception class. Inside throwable class, we have two variables are there. I told you one variable is there, but actually there are two variables. First variable is error message. First variable is error message. Second variable is exception. Okay, na? So we have two constructors, message taking constructors and exception taking constructor. That second variable is technically called caused. What we call caused. Why it is called caused? This exception rise because of another exception. Okay. Inside throwable class, we have two variables, error message variable and caused variable. This object reference is 10. Tell me, did you create interrupted exception object by using any error message? No. Did you create interrupted exception object with any caused message? No. Then what the default values will be available? Null. And here also we have what? Null. Then interrupted exception take this 10 and given to what? Throw keyword. Throw keyword throwing that exception to the catch block. Catch block E receiving object are 10. 10. And then here new runtime exception. All are ready to participate? Runtime exception created. Runtime exception superclass. Exception created. Exception superclass. Throwable memory created. Throwable memory object. Online students understanding? Okay, na? Now tell me. Inside throwable class, how many variables are there? Two variables. What the name of the first variable? Second variable? The variable names may be different. I also don't know. Okay, na? Cause, C-A-U-S-E. Generally, current, present tense. I mean, single. Okay, cause, not caused, cause. Okay? It may be error message or maybe just message. Okay? I'm assuming the variable names, but exactly the name of the variable same or different, I also don't know. I never tried to check. If you want to check, you can check by open source code. Tell me now. Here, runtime exception object 2020 you created by passing what? E. What the E value? 1010. Now the 1010 will go on stored inside where? Cars. Here 1010 stored. Okay, na? Then because of this 1010, this runtime exception object is pointing to interrupted exception object, na? And error message is what? Null. Okay. Now this 2020, now new runtime exception, taking that 2020 and giving to throw keyword terminate this program and throwing that exception error message to M. Okay, na? Now this 2020 go to where? Catch block. Now the E variable contains what? Pointing to it. Okay? Now you call e.print stack trace. It is displaying the complete information about the exception. How many exceptions now it is displaying? 2. One is the runtime exception. Second, the caused exception. Okay, na? So this is the entire flow of execution of exception chaining, throwing, catching, displaying error message and its internal memory diagram. Any doubts? One is cause. What? I didn't understand the words what you are using. I am unable to understand. Repeat again slowly. Why I should leave, man? Ask here. I didn't understand those words. Pronunciation I am unable to understand. I am throwing one exception. Runtime exception I have thrown. Runtime exception internally holding interrupted exception. Cause variable. Which is there in the cause variable. So we are throwing which exception? Runtime exception only. This runtime exception internally carrying the cause variable. Okay, na? Understand? 3. No parameter, string parameter, exception parameter. Okay, na? All people understood? Now, my main target as a user, a programmer, I should display runtime exception or cause of the exception. Runtime exception should not display, it's waste. Yes or no? Yes. Runtime exception is a carrier, it's a bag. What I required, the internal book or knife I required. So once I caught this exception, I should not display the complete information. I should display only cause of the exception. Tell me, how did you get the message available in the exception? By using the method get message. By using getter method, get message. Similarly, can I also get the cause of the exception? Yes. Okay. In throwable class, we have one special method is available. Guess. E dot get cause. Okay, now E dot get cause. Tell me. Now this get cause method returns exception object to our program. I should store in the variable or not? Tell me. This variable is of what type? Think. If you take variable type is exception, only exception type exceptions only you can take. Maybe I want error type exceptions also. Maybe I want exception, siblings also. Same as error E. Same as Stack Overflow. By using try catch, you can catch. Who told? Did I say? You can catch any type of exception. Same here, try catch here. You write a error throwing, run, error throwing. All exceptions are memory related problems only. There are some, no such method error is there. No class different error is there. No field error is there. Assertion error is there. Only memory related, only two problems are there. Number one, Stack Overflow error. Number two, out of memory error. Only two. Remaining errors are all not related to memory. JVM level problems means memory problems or resource problems. Okay, na? Right. Error type exceptions also we can catch. No problem. Then tell me. Now the exception coming. The exception you want to use as a cause. Maybe error, maybe exception, maybe some other sibling also. So, what the superclass of all classes? Throwable. So the cause variable type is what? Throwable. So the return type is what? Throwable. Now the question. We have written catch of exception to catch only after, to catch always exception causing, exception chaining exception. No, maybe exception chaining or maybe direct runtime exception also will come. So then tell me, if the after catching the exception E, when you call E dot get cause, always will you get the cause object? No. Sometimes may come, sometimes may not come. Then what I should write here? If condition, if T not equal to null, that means, tell me, now this exception, what I caught is what? Exception chaining. In exception chaining, what should I display? Only cause of the exception I want to display, not complete exception. Then what I should write here? T dot print stack trace. Understand? T dot print stack trace. Else, if it is not cause, means it's a original exception, directly we come. Exception chaining not there, original exception I got. Then what I write? E dot print stack trace. First priority to display cause. Look at there now. What you got now? Earlier we got runtime exception. Now what you are getting? Interrupted exception, which is coming from main method to M2 method, which is raised in M2 method, thrown to what? Main method, coming to the JVM. Hope you all understand how to work with the cause. So you have to use what method? E dot get cause. Questions? Online students understood? Which one? This one.
Yes.
How?
No one chance if there are any error object will come.
Get cause method return type is throwable. Get cause method is defined how? Throwable get cause. Open bracket, close bracket. Return cause. This is the code. Then I should call this method assigned to which variable? Throwable. Why? What is the code of throwable class? Class throwable. Inside what will be there? Private. What the class name? Throwable cause. Okay. This is the code. So cause variable they have taken what? Throwable type to store any type of exception. If I take here exception, can I store all types of X? There is a limitation. So that's why For loose coupling purpose, they have written what? Throwable cause also. If you take throwable, yeah, we can use any type of exception. We can store any type of exception as a cause. It may be error, it may be exception, it may be runtime exception, or it may be exception, or maybe user defined exceptions also. Na? Can I create my own exception deriving from throwable? No, possible. We can write our class deriving from error, throwable, exception, runtime exception, anything you can write. So if I take throwable, which is a superclass of all exceptions, we'll get what? Loose coupling and runtime polymorphism. That's why they take in the variable as throwable. Then when you call this method, I should take what type of variable here? Throwable only. That's it. Clear, Mike? Constructor not there. Class not found exception doesn't have constructor to take exceptions as argument. It has only two constructors, no param constructor and string param constructor. Class not found exception doesn't support exception chaining. Why it doesn't support exception chaining? It is not meant for chaining exception. It is meant for representing one runtime error. Which runtime error? Class not found runtime error. An exception that representing a particular runtime error doesn't support exception chaining. There. Now the exception which is superclass generally support what? Not a particular runtime error. It supports what? Just dummy exceptions if you want to store. Dummy exceptions if you want to throw, or if you want exception chaining, then we use generally superclass. Okay, na? Any other? And a generalized exception you want to throw. Some exception came, there is no reason actually. One particular reason is there, error reason is there, then particular matching exception. I don't have any reason, just I want to throw, generalized way I want to throw exception, then use superclass. Either throw exception or throw runtime exception, we will throw. Any other questions? Is it clear? Girls, you people are not asking any question. Everything understanding? Not understanding? Answer. Fully understanding or fully not understanding? Not understanding, it's very good. Yeah, you can write here catch throwable also, you can write. But generally we don't write throwable, we'll write only exception. Everyone understood? Okay, so with this we completed rule number 4. What is the rule number 4? When we are overriding a method, if you want to throw different checked exception from that method, we cannot throw. We have to catch that exception and throw by wrapping in another exception. The exception can be the reporting checked exception or unchecked exception. If the exception is the reporting checked exception supports exception chaining, directly we will throw that exception. Otherwise, we must throw with runtime exception. If I use runtime exception and throw exception, user class program will not catch that exception because superclass reporting only class not found exception. Then how to handle this runtime exception? As a user class programmer, you must have awareness. You must have a knowledge. Okay, from the overriding method, maybe some unknown exceptions, runtime exceptions may come. To handle those runtime exceptions, we have catch exception, we write. Inside catch exception, now we have two options. Directly you can write print stack trace. If I write directly print stack trace, complete exception message is displaying. We don't want complete exception. We want only caused exception I want. Then I have to call a special method called what? Get cause. Get cause returns the caused exception object reference and stored in throwable. Why we are choosing throwable? Because get cause return type is throwable. The cause variable internal type is what? Throwable. And then first you have to verify is it null or not. If not null, then direct exception you display. If it is null, only display what? Cause. For example, here I am removing this E. Only runtime exception I am throwing. Then if block executed, else block executed. Inside runtime exception, cause value is what? Null. Get cause returns what? Null. T equal to null? Yes. Generally here we don't write T, we write what? Cause. Cause not equal to null, cause dot print stack trace. Now we'll get what? E dot print stack trace directly runtime exception. Okay. If I write here the wrapping exception E, now we have cause and then If block is executed, interrupted exception will. So this idea is very important. Hope you understand up to now. Shall I proceed next point? 4 rules are completed. Now 5th rule is coming, dangerous rule. I don't explain the rule. You only decide what is this. You understand yourself. I have a class. What is this? Reporting. Reporting. That is the terminology. Reporting interrupted exception should not say. Reporting checked exception. Reporting unchecked exception. That terminology you have to use. That is experienced people terminology. If you say throwing interrupted exception, and whatever there you are reading, you are a fresher. I mean, repeat. If you say throwing checked exception, interrupted exception, then you say what? High tech city. Now static int M1 throws class not found exception return fire. Tell me, this method reporting checked constructor reporting checked exception, method also reporting checked exception. So from other classes, if I call this constructor to create object, or if I call this M1 method, I must handle these checked exceptions, na? Else compiler will throw error. Then think and tell me, is it allowed? ఎంతసేపు చూస్తారు రే? Are reading a class test 04 open bracket to static into a equal to example dot m1 parenthesis closed bracket. Are reading word by word? Rest fellows. Still you don't know how to read a program. Scanner class is there, variable is there, assigned with m1 call. Read in Java English. Don't read in Java. Reading in Java means what? Class test 04 space also there, open bracket space is there, tab space is there, static into a, that is what? Java. Stop reading in Java. Reading in Java English. What is the meaning of Java English? Statements with Java grammar. Java vocabulary. Okay, there is a class with the name test 04. Okay, inside the class static variable is declared and initialized by calling M1. That is called Java English. That's why from the day beginning of the course I am telling you, speak, speak, speak. If you speak, you will understand how to speak. Otherwise, become buffoon in the interview. Tomorrow, class is there or not, I'll inform in the Google Classroom. Okay? 99% I'll take class. Maybe I'll take class late. Around 11:30, 12 may happen. Okay? So in the Google Classroom, I'll inform you what is the time of tomorrow class. That time you try to come. Okay, na? By 11 you come and see still this fellow not come. Don't try. Okay, right. I'll let you know by 10. By 10 o'clock I'll let you know in the Google Classroom. Then you decide. Look at that. If you are coming from far distance, come here and sit in the class. Do revision. If class is not there, go to lab or else go back to home. That's it. Okay. Tell me. Class test 04. If I okay, what am I doing here? This is a declaration. Here I am calling. Now you decide, allowed or not allowed? Can I call methods at a class level with variable assignment? Yes or no? Yes. But this method is a normal method or exception throwing method? Did I handle that exception? Then is it a right syntax or wrong syntax? Compiler throw error. Unreported exception. Class not found, must be caught or declared to be thrown. Okay, na? Now the question. How to handle that exception? Come on. Whenever exception is coming, I must handle by reporting or by catching. I am reporting. Allowed na? Allowed or not allowed? Why not allowed? Can I report exception to the class? No. You have to report only through method. A non-IT water. Jyoti Ranjan, non-IT should not be in class. Hey. Non-IT? No. Closed bracket is expected. Understood? Tell me. Can I handle in another way by using try catch? By using try catch? Yes, sir. Array, people who said yes after class go to 5th floor. From there jump directly. Can I write try catch at class level? Compiler will throw error. Illegal startup expression. Okay. Then tell me, I want to initialize this static variable with the M1 method return value. So how can I write that code? Static block. How? Excellent. Inside static block, how should I initialize? A equal to example.m1. This A equal to example.m1 I should place inside static block. Okay, na? Excellent. This is the way. Allowed? Allowed? M1 method, either you call at class level or inside a static block, it is reporting checked exception I must handle, na? Not handle. So it will throw error. Unreported exception must be caught or declared to be thrown. Following tell me what's the solution? Hey, come here near. If true, what is the meaning of if true here? As that line itself is a problem, no? This line is not creating problem to the next line. If true, if false, when you write, this line is creating problem to the next line, then I have to write if true, if false. The line itself is the problem. Wherever you write, what is the use? If true, don't execute this line, next line you execute. Okay, na? If false, this line will not execute, next line executed. If true, this line will execute, right? That's what the meaning. So when I should place a statement, the if true or if false, when it creating problem to the next line, then now okay. If you write if true and that statement, then what is the meaning of it? True case, this statement executed. True case, this statement executed. Which exception coming? Are you handle? What? Yes, say. How much time will take? Handle or not handle? Then error, na? Earlier I have taken what case? Unchecked exception. Throw new arithmetic exception I have taken. That is what? Unchecked. Because it is unchecked, compiler consider if true, then true or false. If false, this line is not executed. So static block have a chance to execute. Are you catching my point? Let me finish, man. Okay. If you write if false, the statement at all not executed. That time our concentration is on what? Throw keyword, termination, static block, non-static block, termination. Now what is the point? Termination or handling? Earlier unchecked exception, handling point no need to consider because that is unchecked. Now this is what? Handling checked exception. Checked exception you write under true, under false, least bother. You should handle it. If true, you written if true. Compiler considering what? True. Then going inside. M1 method executed. What exception coming? Checked exception. Checked exception handle? No. Then error. You should tell to compiler, JVM will handle. Na? Who is coming in the middle? Compiler. Who is calling? How compiler no JVM will call the static block? Abba. That's what I'm saying. How many ways we can handle checked exception? 2 ways. Okay, na? 2 ways. Using throws keyword, using try catch. When 2 options are there, how compiler knows which option you want to follow? Maybe you forgot. Okay, as we said, compiler and listen here. Let me finish my explanation. Array. That's why I'm telling man. Listen. Okay. If you write just the statement leaving as it is, okay, na? Who is calling static block? JVM. Compiler knows it. Okay, na? Compiler knows it is calling by JVM. Okay, done. Then compiler got a doubt. Maybe this programmer forgot. Okay, now I should throw error, inform to the programmer. Array programmer. This exception is this method is throwing checked exception. Is that checked exception you want to handle or you want JVM to handle? JVM to handle. To handle JVM, what statement I should write? Report. How to write report? That's what I'm asking here. You are in hurry today. Something hangover problem or today? And then why you are that much hurry, you know? Now today you decided I should kill Hare Krishna. That's what I'm saying. Listen, here exception is coming. Okay, you must report that exception. You should tell to the compiler, I want array compiler this exception handled by static block caller JVM. Okay, can I tell to compiler static block handled by throws keyword like this? Allowed or not allowed? Why not allowed? Because it is static block. It is a block, not a method. If it is a method or constructor signature is there, then I have to write what? Throws class not found. Right? So the syntax allowed or not allowed? Not allowed. Point number 1. Okay, let me finish it. Don't be curry. Okay. Then what is the other option? Try catch. So now try catch, if you write, it is allowed. Okay. Now ask your question.
Sir, you are throwing exception. And you are catching exception. What will you do?
Okay. What is this block? Static block. Okay. Static block is meant for complete fully here. Terminate abnormal here. If static block terminated abnormally, we can terminate. Okay. Static block terminated abnormally. Then what the purpose of loading the class? You come to the class. Listen. Listen here. Listen here. Listen. You are come to the class. After coming to class, 5 minutes you are sitting there. After I come, you leave the class. Then why you come to the class when you don't want to stay till the end? Okay, na? You then how you are leaving? You are leaving yourself or taking permission and going?
I know that I should not come. I know I will leave.
That's what I'm saying here. Can you leave by your own? No, you decided that you want to leave. How? By catching this subject. You know, you informed your friend, Arey mama, the subject I will later collect from you that information, right? Static block inside. If you write try catch, you are throwing exception. M1 method throwing exception. You are not throwing exception, right? Test class developer is who? You. M1 method developer is I am. I am throwing exception. You want my method of functionality. Okay. You want to utilize my method of functionality. Then if you give wrong answer, I am throwing exception. Then that exception you have to handle two people. Number one, either by you or by static method caller. Who is the static caller? JVM. JVM to inform what syntax I have to write throws. Is the throws allowed to static? No. Then what is the one option remaining to me? Tell me. Satisfied with answer or not satisfied? If I write here throw new interrupted exception and catching exception, that is bakwas. Understand? I am not writing throw new interrupted exception or not catching. I want the services of M1 method. M1 method is throwing exception. I am receiving the checked exception into the static block. I must catch it. I have only one option. I have to catch it. Okay, na? Got clarity? Yeah? So today you are in a full aggressive mode. What happened? I don't know. Any lover problem? Okay. Then. So do you all understand now? Tell me. What is the rule? Rule number 5. If a method is throwing checked exception, I cannot call that method inside class level with a variable assignment directly. because we should handle that checked exception. If it is throwing unchecked exception, can I call at class level? Yes. Okay, now can I call inside a static block directly? Yes, because compiler doesn't check the exception is handle or not. Checked exception handle or not, compiler is checking. Now I have another question. Ready to answer? Yes. Array, when I write here throw static int a equal to example.m1, if we call a method and assign to the variable at a class level, at a compilation time, compiler software by default moving a equal to m1 into the static block only, na? Then why you are forced to write that a equal to m1 inside a static block? Why compiler not writing? If I write a equal to m1, compiler writing by itself, this is how it will come. Am I right? If I write like this, now here what happened? Exception is rising. What exception? Checked exception. Checked exception handler? No. Will compiler write automatically exception handling logic? No. Why? Because there are two ways of handling. If there is only one way of handling, compiler will write behalf of you. For example, if you remember abstraction not covered, this keyword. In every method, this keyword must be there. You should write, I should write, everyone should write, we should write in a same way. Then who is writing? Compiler write. Similarly, if exception handling is only one way is there, that is a try catch, then compiler will write behalf of us. But it is not one way, two way. That's why compiler don't know which way you wanted to handle. So it is throwing error. Then if you want to handle with throws keyword, again throw error, that is the wrong syntax. Then only one option you have what? Try catch. You write try catch. So because the compiler don't know how to handle your exception, you should explicit write try catch. You should explicit write a static block, and inside static block you should do initialization surrounding with a try catch. That's the rule number 5. All you will understand that when we throw checked exception from a method, I cannot use that method to initialize static variable at class level. We should call that method inside static block by surrounding with try catch, and we cannot report the checked exception in the static block by using throws keyword. Understand rule number 5? Tell me. Now we have also constructor is throwing checked exception. Tell me, can I create object of a class at a class level? Hey, can I create object of a class at a class level? Either by using static reference variable or by using non-static reference variable, we can create object of a class at class level. Tell me now, here this code is compiled or not? I am creating object of this class at class level. Allowed or not allowed? Why not allowed? Syntax wrong or exception must handle? For example, if I remove this throws interrupted exception, any compile time error? No. Exception, interrupted exception is never thrown from the corresponding of the try statement. 1 second, please. Look at here, unclosed comment. Now look at their compile successfully. What I have written here, I created a constructor without exception. Can I create object of that class at class level directly like this? Yes. Now I am adding this throws interrupted exception to the constructor. Now error or no error? Error. Exception, interrupted exception must be handled. So if a constructor throwing checked exception, I cannot create object of that class at class level. Compiler throw error. Then what the solution? Can I use like this? Can I use using throws keyword to the class? No, same points are coming. Can I use a try catch at a class level to catch? No, compiler will throw error. Then what the solution? Tell me. This is what type of variable, static or non-static? Non-static variable initialization I have to do in static block or in a constructor? Can I do in non-static block also? Yes. Now I am taking static variable, non-static variable, again one more non-static variable. I want to initialize the static e variable e1 by using example object. So can I initialize at class level? No. Can I initialize static block? Yes. By using only try catch. E2 variable I want to initialize where either in non-static block or in constructor. In non-static block, can I handle by using throws keyword? No, only by using try catch. Okay. Now E3 variable I want to initialize inside a constructor. Inside a constructor, I'm initializing by using try catch. And tell me, constructor is a kind of method that has a signature. Can I use throws keyword also? Yes. Hope you all understand? If a method or a constructor throwing checked exception, I cannot call that constructor or method inside class to the variable assignment statement directly. Compiler will throw error. You must handle that checked exception. For that, you should call that method or constructor inside static block or non-static block or constructor, depending on the type of the variable you have chosen. Inside static block and non-static block, we can handle exception only by using try catch. Inside constructor, we can handle either by using try catch or by using throws keyword. Is everything clear now up to now? So rule number 6 or 5? Rule number 5 is completed. Now we are moving to rule number 6. Very interesting. I don't explain. You don't need to answer. I created a class example with a constructor, no param constructor with throws exception. Now I am creating subclass from this class. What happened? Compile or not compile? Is this exceptional in chapter? No. It is inheritance chapter. Remember, whenever you see extends keyword, when you see any inheritance bit, first you have to find out what constructor available in superclass, what constructor call available in subclass. Are they matched or not? You have to verify. And tell me, is it a empty class or default constructor class? Inside a default constructor, we have super call. Super call is calling this constructor. And this constructor throwing checked exception. Did you handle it? Then compiler throw error, na? Compiler behalf of you, it will handle exception in the default constructor? No. Then compiler throw error. What error? Unreported exception, interrupted exception in. Hello, default constructor terminology is my terminology or JVM terminology? Sun Microsystem terminology. Class, it is showing to whom now class? SA1. What does it mean? What did you understand here? Oh, inside class SA1, we have default constructor. Inside default constructor, supercall. Supercall calling superclass constructor, which is reporting checked exception, which must handle. So, whenever you are solving inheritance bit, how many points you have to consider? 3 points. Point number 1, what constructor available in superclass? Point number 2, what constructor is, point number 1, what constructor calling superclass? What constructor available in superclass? What constructor call available in subclass? Are those calls and definition matched? If matched, second, is that matched constructor throwing any checked exception? Is that exception handle or not? Third, if handle, then you have to verify, are there any superclass methods are overriding in subclass? And all 4 checked exception rules are, all rules of overriding rules are following or not, you have to verify. Okay, na? After checking all these compile time error rules, then you have to think about what? Execution points. Now tell me, how to solve this compile time error? Hey, where are you going? How to solve this compile time error? You have to handle exception in subclass. How? I should define my own explicit constructor by throws interrupted exception. Now compiler, yes. Any doubts? No, I have a doubt. Answer. How many ways we can handle exception? By using throws and try catch. Always refer what? First throws, then try catch. Bola. With a try catch. Why no? It's the first only, no? It is not first. That is the third statement. What is the first statement? Try. Second, open bracket. Third, super. So tell me, can I handle the exception coming from superclass constructor by using try catch? No, because super call must be the first statement. Only one way we can write by using throws. Okay, you are asked me to place as a first statement. I am placing as a first statement. Allowed? Yeah, first statement. Is it a first statement or first line? First line, not first statement. Compiler still throw a call to super must be the first statement in the constructor. Tumri fellow. Where are you right? Okay, sir. Okay, sorry. Hope you all understand now? Now tell me, is it allowed? Why not allowed? Why? Huh? Why sibling we cannot throw? What the reason? Super class constructor I called, handle its exception, interrupt the exception. Now, kya problem? If I throw another exception, what is the problem? In subclass, if I throw class not found exception, what is the problem? Is the constructor comes under overriding? Is the subclass constructor is a overriding constructor? Does it have any definition linking with the superclass constructor? Subclass constructor is its own constructor. Na? Why you are writing throws interrupted exception here? Is it because of overriding or because you are calling? Are you understand? Method comes under overriding. According to overriding rules, you have to add only the exception which is informed in the superclass. Am I right? In a subclass, if you write constructor, you are handling the superclass constructor exception not because of overriding, because calling through supercall. Understand? Superclass constructor to subclass constructor, there is no overriding link. Subclass constructor is own constructor. We can also throw additional exception, no problem. Is it clear? Yes. This is another confusion point because you are coming from methods point. Okay, tell me, is it allowed? Why no? What is the problem in this class, man? Why you are confusing here? It is a class, it's a new class, not extending from any other class. Can I have no param and string param? Yes. Now can I write throws interrupted exception to the string param? Yes. Any objection? No. Objection overruled. Fight or? Tell me. Now this class compiled? Yes or no? No. Why? This class compile or not compile? Why? Come on, think. Compiler, not compiler? Not compiled. Why? Where? Come on, everyone should answer. See, if you give wrong answer, am I scolding? No, in exception handling, at least one day did I scold? No. Exception handling is a completely new topic to learn. You don't know anything before. When I will scold? No. When I already completed explanation, and if you keep on giving same wrong answer, then irritated and kill you. Okay? Exception handling is a completely new topic. In data type chapter, type conversion, typecasting chapter, when you do mistake, did I scold you? No, because that is completely new. If you do any mistake in variable chapter, did I scold? Not only scold, murder. Because already in data type chapter, everything I explained. In a methods chapter, some points I scold, some topics I didn't scold. Anything you are learning new and lot of confusions, I don't scold. Promise on you. Here onwards, I don't scold for one topic also. Because scolding days are over. You are come to what stage now? Learning over. Now you are using those topics to apply in the next chapters. While applying, definitely your gajan is, you will forget something. And I have to help you. Now I am doing denting operation. Denting and building operations. Connecting operations. You know, I completed pieces. First piece, second piece, third piece, fourth piece. Now I am connecting the pieces. While connecting, you forgot which piece connected to which piece. They are not leg pieces, right? Chicken leg piece, mutton leg piece, no, okay? So now we are doing joint operations. In these joint operations, I have to help you, but I don't directly help. You must commit mistake. Until you committed mistake, I don't go to the next point. Okay? Now everyone should come forward and try to answer. Ready? Yes. So promise on you, I don't scold. You have to promise on you only, not on me. Okay? Promise on you only, try to answer every question. Right or wrong or no problem. Okay? I'm ready to help you. Please try, come forward and talk. Tell me, this SA6 class, compiled or not compiled? Compiled. No error. Why? SA6 class contain internally default constructor. That default constructor calling no param constructor of example 2. Is no param constructor throwing any checked exception to handle? No. So there is no compiled error. What about next construct? SA7 error? Why? Because I am explicitly calling string parameter constructor. So error I must handle. Clear my point? So inheritance chapter again coming in exception handling. So tell me, exception handling chapter, why I am taking almost 10 days to teach? Because I am not teaching only exception handling. Understand my point? I am teaching exception handling with object oriented programming, logical programming. And Java fundamentals, how to write a Java program, data types, variables, methods, constructor, okay, reading runtime values, plus logical programming, loops, operators, while loop, static, for loop, if condition, okay, else block, switch block, plus object oriented programming, variables, methods, constructors, inheritance, blocks, inner class is not there, okay, blocks and inheritance. Everything is covering in this chapter. I'm doing revision of all the topics. Wherever exception present, every topic I have considered and explained, so that you will be strong in exception handling and complete previous chapter up to object oriented programming. Volume 1A, volume 2, volume 1B means unit 1, unit 2, unit 3 will be revised. Clear my point? That's why my every chapter will be that much lengthy chapter. Okay? Now tell me. Next constructor.
अच्छा
Compile or not compile? Why? Wrong answer. String to string matching. Throwing interrupted exception not handled. Parameter to parameter matching or calling to parameter matching. What we are calling here? No param constructor. Then what is called no param? Hope you know constructor calling topic is revised. Okay, so hope you all understand now. These are all the topics related to exception handling, checked exception rules. Without notes, I completed everything. Do you need notes now? Sadhukondi. Read it. I don't read. Totally how many rules? Rule on handling, rule on catching, rule on overriding, rule on throwing different checked exception from a overriding method. Next, rule on calling a method or constructor at class level. Rule on subclass constructor. Rule on handling, exception, inside static block. IV ante instance block and constructor. 7 rules are there. So all are you comfortable? You want to read again theory? Necessary or not required? Huh? Required. ఎన్ని సార్లు చదువుతారు రాస్తాను చదివి కలిసిపోట్లా చదువుకోండి రూల్ నెంబర్ 1 I don't share. Read fast. Completed? Super class of, I mean, when you take exception, I mean, parameter is checked. If parameter, if you want to support exception chaining, the parameter will be throwable, not exception. Parameter of the constructor will be throwable. Completed? Next. Hmm.
What all class object exception?
Checked exception is not a class. Checked exception is a concept. Thus, classes which are direct subclasses of
Or why subclass? If my superclass is going to interrupted exception, or we can throw in subclasses. Subclass, interrupted subclass, subclass of interrupted.
if there, if it has, if interrupted exception has a subclass, then we can throw that exception. If not there, we cannot. In last class, I explained, class we created class not found exception subclass called my exception. Where is that? Class not found exception. Like if you take interrupted exception, my exception extends interrupted exception. Then what I can throw? Either class not found exception or my exception. Interrupted exception or my exception. Okay, na? Done, completed. Next, rule number 4. Overridden method means subclass or superclass? Huh? Done, completed. Done. Why not? Why? Default values will be there, no? When you call this method, the value will go on store in that variable. If you don't call the method, value will not be there. Default values are there. Next, rule on construct. Static method also comes under overriding flavor, na? Hiding all rules also apply to overriding all rules apply to hiding also told, right? Whatever the rules you learn with non-static method, same rules are applied for static method also. And then completed. Last one, rule on handling exception inside static block. Done, completed. Done. Any doubts? Now we completed exception handling. All people are crying material or material, na everything there in the material. Xerox, volume 1A textbook. Line number 1. Exception handling. Adeko. Definition of exception. Technical definition. Hey, look at it. Technical definition. What happens if exception rise? What JVM does when logical mistake occurred in the program? Now a program without exception, a program with exception. What exception definition? 3 definitions. Introduction to throwable class, error, exception, runtime exception, direct subclasses. Look at here. What are the differences between error and exception? First, difference 1, difference 2. 2 types of exception: subclass of runtime exception, direct subclass of exception. 2 types of exception subclasses. What the difference above 2 types of exception? Runtime exception, exception. 2 categories of exception: checked and unchecked. Now, when is called checked exception? Definition of checked and unchecked exception. Tell me, all points are there? You didn't read material. That's it. Okay, na? आ रहा है, थोड़ा पेशेंट में वेट करो. Okay, na? Types of exceptions, all points are there. Okay, next. Keywords in this chapter: try, catch, finally, throws. And now the program with exception. And now we got this error message. एक बार सोचो, think once. Okay, can user understand above error message? नहीं है. क्या करना? इसे को what you call exception handle करना कैसे exception handling need of exception handling to stop abnormal termination providing understandable message exception handling procedure 1 2 3 4 ధోని అశ్వినో ధోని గుర్తుందా exception handling cricketer above preparing exception object appears appropriate to the current logical mistake throwing that exception to the appropriate exception handler okay Ashwin finding the ball and throwing then catch that exception Dhoni taking action okay how can we handle exception in Java try catch throws is missing first two actions done by try second two actions done by catch now try catch block explanation what try will do what catch will do syntax of try catch next below program shows handling exception try multiple catches अभी देखो वो messages understandable हैं yes हैं smile face हैं rules in try catch rule 1 rule 2 rule 3 rule 4 okay cases just these are cases okay rule 4 and then rule number 5 where you are allowed to write exception where you are not I mean where you are allowed to write try catch where you are not allowed and then can we add more try catches yes multiple catch blocks can we catch all exception in single catch when should we write multiple catches okay division program rule number 5 6 7 multiple catches okay here error yes here error yes okay and now the program you have already written now tell me throwable class methods to print exception totally how many methods are there 3 methods all the 3 methods I called and shown next what the use of this throwee now first I catch the exception and I have used that exception and throwee then who will catch this exception JVM do I need to report that exception here when we throw no because that exception is arithmetic then try catch execution control flow what the statements already know JDH note JVM default handler the flow of explanation then next the program test cases 1 2 3 4 okay no exception exception rise exception rise exception 5 cases then can we and can an exception be raised in the catch block yes and then who will catch that exception you should write try catch inside the catch block okay all right then it's called inner try catch the point if you remember wherever you want to catch exception there you should write try catch inside method you want inside method inside try you want to catch inside try you want inside catch inside finally inside finally if I write try catch inside try or catch or finally it's called what inner try catch or nested try catch the exception rise in inner try are caught by associated inner catch and now same program you know here exception rise I don't want to terminate then you write try catch inside try catch and then need of inner try catch and now I have given the same example to you explain case 1 case 2 case 3 case 4 then next inner try catch control flow statement control flow then here first case no exception rise second case third case fourth you know look at that input -5 what happened write a program to read int number from the keyboard using IO API and small sample project I have explained go through once okay you know already is covered in other chapters okay next finally block with that try catch inner try catch completed finally block established need of finally block JDBC code same code is there na? Then now basically finally block now two syntaxes are there to finally try catch finally and try finally I want catch the exception and execute guarantee statements and terminate normally try catch final when exception rise I don't want to stop abnormal termination but I have some statements guaranteely execute then try finally then try catch finally execution flow test case programs case 1 case 2 case 3 case 4 case 5 finally block with a return statement in the material I have taken finally block only with return statement but I explain break and continue also intentionally I have not used break and continue in the material because other people should not know there some points I have to hide then what is the output for the below program okay and then unreachable statement okay and then inner finally block test cases inner finally block with return statement okay in above program if you place return 30 in the outer finally what will be the output change already we covered these cases okay exception rise and finally block executed okay then here exception rise and inner finally has return statement then outer catch executed no and the exception is suppressed and what value written only 20 right Then exception, propagation. Try catch finally Jamana completed. Second half started. Exception, propagation. Exception, propagation with try catch. If I don't use a try catch, exception is propagated. If I use a try catch, exception is not propagated. Here, try catch is not there. Exception propagated to main method, and we caught exception is suppressed. Okay. Next, compiler thinking. In compiling try catch block, compiler thinking with assumptions, variable initialization, all the test cases. Okay. Then return statement in try catch, case 1, case 2. Right. In above program, case number 3, project scenario. In project scenario, always we have to take variable with assignment, and in the try block, catch block, we should not return. We should only store end of the method. We should return, and then test cases. Right. With this propagation completed. Now throw and throws. Tell me, throw keyword is used for, throws keyword is used for, syntax use throws keyword. Now rule in throw keyword, unreachable statement. Okay. Next, look at that. IE is a subclass of exception, so we must catch or report this exception using throws keyword. Here we reported, so no error. Here we didn't report, error. Here reported, no error. How can I report? By using throws keyword. Here reported, no error. Here reporting is unchecked exception, not required, mandatory. Reporting checked exception is mandatory. Rule. We are not allowed to write catch block with checked exception without throwing from try block. Now without throwing interrupt exception, error. Rule number 2. Okay, throwing and catching, no problem. We can catch and also we can report. Catch and report. We can report checked exception without throwing. All points are there? Hey, first you ask question, I am answering. Ray, what question you ask? Where are the rules, sir? All rules are there now. Rule 1, rule 2, rule 3. Huh? Are Tumri fellow, what is this? It's not program. Yeah, either program error. Eh? And then what you want? This is what? What? No intro. Look at here. Rule number. Without throwing or receiving a checked exception, we must not place catch block. That one is there, na? We are not allowed to write catch block with checked exception without throwing it from the try. It leads to compile time error. It leads to compiler will throw error. Here the grammar, is different. That's it. But the meaning is what? Same. Program. What? Hey, 1 minute. Hey, first, whatever the file I have typed here, everything there or not? First you accept. Why you are coming in the middle? Why you are coming in the middle? Am I talking to you? Did I look like? Did I look at you? No, no. Did I look at you? Did I answer to you? Then why you are replying? I ask you, wait, no? Bolo. Your doubt clear? There are points there? Okay. Hey. Again you are talking in the middle. Now, next tell me. This rule number 1 and rule number 2 there, right? And then now rule number 3. What is the 3? Overriding. Go down. Here I have written all points at one place, and here I make it as a part. Each theory word meaning program I am writing. Okay. Then next, we can catch and also we can report. Okay, that point I have written here. This is already there here somewhere. All points at a place I have written, but we can add catch even though there is no throws. We can add catch even though they are not throwing from try block, because from this unchecked. Exception and throwable classes are okay. We cannot add catch up without throwing. It is allowed because for the informing. Okay. In a above case, even though reported exception is not throwing from the method, is inside the catch block. Okay. Look at that. Those points are there. We can report checked exception without throwing from method. We can write catch block for unchecked exception without throwing that exception. All points are just make it as a pieces and writing sample code. Okay. Special case. We are allowed to place catch block for exception and throwable even though they are not throwing from try block. There are point. But if they are thrown using throw keyword, it will get compile time error. Okay. This is allowed, this is not allowed. Then next rule is what? Method over. If a super class method is not reporting or not throwing exception, subclass overriding method allowed. Now tell me M1 allowed. Throws runtime allowed. Throws exception not allowed. Case number 2 in overriding. If you super class method has throws class, subclass overriding method may or may not have throws class. If you place throws class, blah blah blah. Case 1, case 2. This is a class. Interrupted. And then no exception. Okay, throws exception allow. Class C extends A. I can ignore. Class D extends allowed. No. Then below program leads to compile time because super class method is throwing exception that must be reported or must be. This is what rule number 6. Rule number 4. Now M1 method super.M1. When I call super class M1 in subclass, I must handle that exception. This point not there in the my material. It is there here. Extra point there. Now tell me next. Below class define a method by throwing checked exception. Throws class not found. Allowed or not allowed? Class F static method. Now M1 method F.M2. Allowed or not? Yes. Allowed or not allowed? Not allowed. M1 method is what? Throwing class not. And our overriding method throwing interrupted. Solution. We have to use what? Exception. Throws class not found exception. If you're right, it is not matching. Then what I should do? I should catch that exception. After catching exception, I should wrap. Okay. So all points are there. Up to what rule there in the material? Up to this one is there. Okay, na? These last 3 rules are not there. Then should I write notes for these 3 rules? These rules are exception handling rules, combination with method calls. Same point, right? Rule number 1 is coming here. Why you want to write notes program? When you call a method, if the method is throwing checked exception, I should handle it. Adega rule number 5. Voila. Rule number 6 is what? Inside subclass super call is calling super class constructor. If super class constructor throwing checked exception, that is rule number 1 only, na? Rule number 1 only coming here. Then why you want extra notes? What you are? That is my material or your material? And you know what is not there, I don't know what is there. Don't show your talent in front of me. You are bachas in front of me. Okay. So what point should be there in material? What point should not be there in the material? What point should be in your notes should not be there in the notes also, I know. Okay, na? If everything there in your notes, your hostel mates will copy it and share it to their faculties, then what happened? What happened? There is no difference between you and others. Some points must be there only in your brain. Should not be in material. Okay, na? Our reader, Akila Madabita, Cherino, Google Classroom, sir. Are you remember a break and continue program, but you don't know how to write program, and you don't try. Why? Because you are Akil. Why you are waiting till 1 month? Bolora. Why are you waiting till 1 month? Now you go to room and write that program. Are you that much gajniya? Okay. If you don't remember what code you are writing in your company after 1 month, what code you are writing in the company today, if you don't remember after 1 month, then how can you handle that project? Huh? Bola bhaiya. First you stop giving fear to your brain. I may forget. Then you are giving instructions to your brain. What? Forget. Oh, my boss is always want to forget. Let me forget. Remove. Instruct your brain. You can remember. Don't worry. What is the base point of all exception, custom exception? If exception thrown, I must handle. Where? Class level, not possible. Static block possible with try catch. In non-static block possible using try catch. Inside constructor possible using try catch and using throws. You need programmer. And then you instruct your brain, you can remember base point. If you remember base points notes already gave. If you remember it, sub points automatically will come. You should train your mind how to remember. Should not force your brain to forget. Okay? Don't create fear. It's very easy for me to share. It's not a big deal to share. I can share. If I share, you'll become lazy. You will become dependent. I am considering you as a software engineer, but you considering as a Tumri student. Change your attitude. It's very important. Small points also, if you don't remember, then how can I remember big projects in the company? You should handle your project for years. So now we have to go to next story is what? Custom exception. Custom exception means how to create our own exception, and then following by we should learn how to use the custom exceptions in the project and developing one sample project. That we'll see in tomorrow class if I take class. Tomorrow, please follow Google Classroom. If tomorrow no class, then Sunday we will have class. Understand? By this Sunday, I should complete exception handling chapter, and we should go from Monday new chapter. What? Okay, now tomorrow if don't have class, Sunday we will have class. Tomorrow class is there, syllabus not completed, still we will have Sunday class. Clear? So get ready.